formation behind Ponder. 2nd and 9 from the Green Bay 37. It's all tied at 34. Rudolph in motion. Handoff Adrian to the left. Gets through the line of scrimmage. Bumps it out to the 30. Cuts it back to the 25. Inside the 20. And he's tackled at the 11-yard line. That's a 26-yard run for Adrian Peterson, who is 8 yards shy of Eric Dickerson's single-season mark. And unless Blair Walsh misses this and we go to overtime, Adrian Peterson will finish 8 yards shy of Eric Dickerson's 1984 mark of 21:05.
Adrian Peterson now in the Ring of Honor with the Minnesota Vikings. We chatted earlier, and there were so many accolades and wonderful moments with Adrian on the field with the Minnesota Vikings, but 2016 was a little weird. The Vikings were going to play the Indianapolis Colts at U.S. Bank Stadium. Strange week for Adrian and some situations up to the game. Strange game for Adrian in the game. Final game for Adrian Peterson wearing the colors. When we chatted, I'm like, did it end okay here?
It didn't finish exactly how I wanted, or how I envisioned. But, when I look back on it, a lot of that had to do with me as well. Mm-hmm. And just kind of how I went by things. But, then accomplish winning a championship which was something that, was on my list of things to do, the top thing on my list to do while I was there in Minnesota. But, when I think about it, there's so many great relationships were built and so many great memories there as well. And as far as like the head, right, the organization from, Rick Spielman and Kevin Warren, all those guys,
mm-hmm.
The relationship was awesome. It was awesome. And even with Coach Zimmer.
That's great.
Me and Coach Zimmer, we didn't hate each other. He's a heck of a coach, a guy that I have so much respect for. It was just one little situation towards the end that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt like I could have handled it different, because, I think that year we got the new running back coach that came in, and he reached out a couple times just to kind of talk and, kind of gather, what I was thinking and this, that, and other. And I kind of missed his calls and never really got back to him, because I was kind of caught up in my feelings. And, so I think that kind of unraveled to, them bringing in a different guy and me going in a different direction.
And you mentioned that chasing a championship here with the Vikings was first and foremost. And that 2009 season and Brett Favre, and I never will forget the moment in the locker room after the Saints went to Cheaton and beat you guys in overtime. And it's you in your third year, Sidney Rice in his second year, Percy Harvin, Rookie of the Year. And you guys are all around Brett Favre. And the thing that I just loved that whole year, man, is that he was nearing the end of his career and all you guys were just starting. So, like, I would see you guys interact with him, and it was like you looked up to him so much because all you guys grew up watching him, but he was like a surrogate uncle or something like that to you guys too, man. It's just when you guys all embraced in that locker room at Superdome after that game and you all cried, I'll never forget that. I mean, that's the closest you got to a championship, but that 2009 season and Brett Favre, what did he mean to you?
He meant a lot. You grow up and you're watching, a legend, at play, his legendary career. You're watching him at Green Bay and all the things that he was able to do down there, just the way he played the game, the passion he played with. So you had so much, just love for him and admired his game and just everything about him, So, once he gets towards the end of his career and, here you are, and as a second-year guy, third-year guy, and you're playing with Brett Favre, it was pretty spectacular. A really amazing moment. And then even more impressive was just his knowledge of the game and the incredibly strong arm he still had, at that age of 40. Some of the throws he used to make at practice and, you have to have your head on the swivel and your catching hands, ready to catch the ball, because he was a true gunslinger.
Yeah.
And he practiced the way he played in the game. So those balls were coming full speed. But just to have those 2 seasons and that first season in 2009 and accomplish the things that we were able to accomplish, but just fall a little short. It was something that, I'm sure we'll all remember, for the rest of our lives. And just to be able to play with a legendary guy like him was awesome. And then next year, the season wasn't as great, but,
nope.
We bring on Randy Moss, and it's like, another legend, Ring of Honor guy right there, Randy Moss. Like, how awesome is that?
Yeah, for sure.
To play with Randy Moss, too.
Yeah, a couple of Hall of Famers, too, like John Randall, Randy Moss, Brett Favre, Adrian Peterson. I mean, that just sounds like it's supposed to go that way. All right, this is fantastic, Adrian. God bless you, man. I really appreciate the time. A couple of quickies to close here, because I do want to talk about your son. But you said with Brett, you always had to have your catching hands ready. All right, I've never asked you a question like this, so let me frame it up like this, all right? Listen closely. How would you respond to those who describe your Vikings career like this? Oh, Adrian Peterson, Hall of Famer for sure. One of the game's all-time great runners. Not much for the catching game, a little too mechanical. How would you respond to that?
I would say, watch the 2 years Brett Favre was there.
Ooh.
And look at my receiving stats. I think the first year I had maybe 450, 500 yards receiving. And then the next year, I had maybe a little something under that.
Yeah.
But I would just give them that example right there. I actually had a quarterback that checked the ball down to me and found me and put the ball in my hand outside of handing the ball directly to me.
That's a beautiful answer, man.
Those numbers don't lie. My receiving yards picked up for a reason. When he was around.
I mean, once a competitor, always a competitor. I mean, seriously, how long you been out of the game? 5 years, 4 years, 5 years?
Yes, 5 years.
Okay,
man, 5 years.
I mean, you're never going to give anybody an edge at anything, are you?
No, I still feel like I can play.
Hey, 2009, your run at Pittsburgh when you trucked William Gay. Is that one of the most memorable in your career?
Yeah, that's definitely one of those ones that I remember the most. And the crazy thing about that PA is that I literally, as soon as I turned around, I was kind of shocked to see him, and you can kind of see it in like my gallop and how, even though I ran the guy over and stepped on his chest, you can kind of, the part that upsets me is like, dang, I should have just, as soon as I turned around, I should have just, pushed the gas and just ran through him immediately. But I ended up running through him and then hit the sideline, and you could just see just the energy that was let out. Once I got tackled on the sideline, it was just one of those games going against that Steeler defense too, where I was just locked in and wired up.
Hey, before we say goodbye, Adrian, tell us about your 14-year-old son, Adrian Peterson Jr. I read some stuff about him as I think an 8th grade football player. He'll be a freshman next year. It's Texas high school football. I mean, seriously, what do we have here with Junior?
Just really have a special kid, man. He's really, really smart, and that's the one thing I love about him the most. He's a lot smarter than I was, at his age, but really smart kid. He's very mature for his age, and just his mentality and how he approached school, and not only school, but how he approached his craft with how he trains, whether that's baseball, football, and even this track. So he actually understands that you get out what you put in. So he works out extremely hard. He's really dedicated with what he does, and he's intentional. You can tell him, hey, you need to. I felt like on this play, you know, when he was running the ball, because he's an athlete, right? But he plays a receiver position. He played running back. He played defense side of the ball, cornerback. So he does it all. But you can tell him, hey, on this running play, I felt like you could have pressed it a little more, you know, before you jump cut and bounce it outside, and that would have, you know, got that Mike linebacker to commit more, and you know, maybe you could have broke it for, you know, 5-10 more yards, and you know, you will see him go out there and he'll do it, you know. And even when it comes to running routes, it's the same thing. Like, hey man, this guy was playing, you know, more inside, you know, try to, you know, spread it out a little more, come in tighter, and you know, go 2 or 3 yards. Maybe you didn't hit the right depth, and he's able to respond and get it done, you know. So that's been the most impressive part about him, that he picks up on those things. But a really smart kid. He's a hard worker. You know, he comes home around about 4:00, and shortly after that, I see him outside, and he's, you know, got his cones up, and he's doing receiver drills and practicing routes and stuff like that, you know. So at his age, to have that mentality and that focus and that dedication, you know, is one of the reasons he got, eight or nine, you know, D1 offers right now. You know, Minnesota, University of Miami, Florida State just offered him on a Monday, Syracuse, so Baylor, and so he's you know, he's a special kid. And last year, I mean, this past summer, man, he had a growth spurt. You know, he right now he's probably about 180. He put on a little more weight, about 180, 185, 6'1". And he's ripped up, man. Somebody, this little kid, this guy is cut, you know. So, you know, here soon I'll be looking up to him, you know, which I'm not looking forward to, because I don't want to be looking down on me like, hey, Dad, what you say again?
Hey, I just got a text from Jimmy Pessis with Continental Diamond. Remember those awesome private parties you'd come to at Continental Diamond with a bunch of other players? Man, we had some good times there.
Man, some great times there. Great time. What a great family and a great company. Yeah. I'm happy to get down there again, man. I miss those moments, man. That was awesome times, being able to be a part of that.
You're fantastic. Congratulations on the Ring of Honor induction. Well deserved, and I'm sure I'll see you up here at the stadium one day, okay?
All right, look forward to it, PA. Good to hear from you. Good to talk to you, brother.
Adrian Peterson.
And he's loose!
Some Hughesy next, but first.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand, or win some bonus bucks, I should say, with the National Cash Contest. This hour's keyword is coin. You could win some by using the keyword coin at KFAN.com.
You're listening.
From Dane Moore, right around the corner, of course, Game 6 this evening at Target Center, Wolves and Spurs. But first, season-ending pressers from some of the Wild players, and some news popping. You get to know certain things maybe you couldn't find out about during the season. Broken heel for Eriksson Ek led to him basically just being in excruciating pain, even trying to skate. But Quinn Hughes talking about, you know, just mentally, just trying to still get his head around just the ending so quickly. But I believe it was a member of the beat writing staff just simply asked him straightforward, hey, you open to re-signing here?
Do you see yourself re-signing this summer?
I mean, I really like it here. I think that I would definitely be open to re-signing. I mean, we'll see what Billy wants to do. Again, you know, we're not even 36 hours removed, so it's a tough loss, but I definitely would be open to re-signing here.
What are the factors that matter to you when you consider a decision like that?
That's a good question. I mean, I think there's definitely a couple. You know, I think just going home, talking to my parents, my brothers, obviously leaning on family and support. But again, we're 36 hours removed. I'm not sure I'm ready to, you know, get into detail what that would look like. But I think I can say that I really like it here. I love the team. I love the city and the fans. I mean, just, you know, being in that locker room was a special group. And would definitely be reopen to signing here with the guys that we have in the room and just the people we have in the room. A lot of, trust, with Billy as well, and love Heinze and Cappy and the coaching staff. I just think it's, great spot, great situation for myself. So, I'm saying all that, go with where you want with that.
If you're signing anywhere for a number of years, you want to like where you live too. Like, what you'd be able to get out and about and see what the city's like. I know in the beginning you were kind of a whirlwind. You were just playing hockey, but just what was your impression of?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I've spent some time here, obviously, playing the Gophers, and I always loved coming here and playing them. And then I've had buddies here that I've visited in the summer, Brock, Besser, Jack Becker, and some of these other guys. And so I saw it a little bit in the summers, but I think it's a, amazing state, so passionate about hockey. I love that there's other sports teams here too. Be able to go to some of the nice restaurants downtown. So, I mean, there's still lots to see. I'd like to spend, maybe a little bit longer than I normally would after season here, and just kind of enjoy the city a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, I like it. I enjoy it.
Quinn, Brodin is a defender. Did your respect for him go up, even playing with him as a teammate, as a defender, Brodin?
Yeah, I mean, he's first and foremost, he's a really good person, really good guy to be around, just enjoys his company. As a player, he's great, obviously. I just mentioned it, we missed him and Decky, but that's going to happen. I mean, everyone goes through injuries, every team throughout the playoffs, but yeah, I mean, he's a big part of our D-core. And he's a terrific person, so we definitely missed him, and it'll be important. He's had a lot of surgeries, I think, the last year, and it'll be important to try to get him feeling healthy this summer, and getting him, coming in October feeling really healthy and confident in his body.
You mentioned definitely open to re-signing. As far as timing goes, like, is it something where you could go into next year and wait to decide then, or would you rather get something decided maybe like the summertime before going?
I mean, not all that's up to me. I mean, we gotta talk to Billy and see where his head's at and what's he want to do. But obviously, going into a year signed would be better. But I mean, I'm a pretty, I would say, like, mentally tough and focused guy. So if we didn't have something done going in the year, I would be ready to go no matter what and focused on the task at hand. But I'd say probably getting something done would be better.
I was going to say, Quinn, the day you showed up here, I think it was pretty well below zero. Now the weather's just getting good, and the season's over. But you say you maybe want to spend a little time here in the summer?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be back for a wedding in the summer for sure. I'll be here for at least a couple days after this. So yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to spend some time here and, put my feet up and kind of just enjoy the city and see some things.
Quinn, your arrival here really seemed to up the level of fan interest and fan expectations just with this season, throughout this season. How much did you feel that as a player, just that excitement?
I mean, I could feel the excitement in the city, or the people, just that, Billy was making a big move, and that this whole organization had cup aspirations. Obviously, that's going to go a long way to the fans, and I could feel that. I mean, a standing ovation when I got out for warm-ups the first game was pretty special for me. And yeah, I mean, that's, since the trade, it's never really been about me. It's just, we have a great group here. We had aspirations to win a cup. It didn't happen, but I'm not sure we're as far as maybe we think or whatnot. I think that we played an unbelievable team in Colorado, a team that can win the cup, and we're gonna have to get through them next year and teams like that. And we just got to keep growing and learning. And as far as your question, I could definitely feel the fan support, the love, and the excitement in the city.
That's Quinn Hughes addressing the media. So he likes us. He really likes us. He is open to re-signing here, and he would prefer that the deal is done before next season. So
I thought that was great.
It was terrific.
Nick Foligno had an awesome one-liner. I don't know if it was before or after Hughes, but he was asked, are you interested in re-signing here? And he's like, yeah, but I think I'm going to push for slightly something under Kaprizov, like maybe $16 million.
You gotta be taping me.
$16 million a year. So
that's brilliant.
That was good. And Quinn Hughes, fantastic, man. That was a wonderful interview. From the Minnesota Wild and Hughesy.
Let's play hockey!
To the Minnesota Timberwolves, down 3-2 to the Spurs, 8:40 on KFAN this evening. Dane Moore joins us next.
This is PA on iHeartRadio and KFAN The Fan. Guaranteed human.
At Dane Moore NBA via X, the Dane Moore podcast. Very good. Make sure you listen to it. Dane, are you heading back to San Antonio for Game 7, or is tonight potentially a funeral for a sports friend?
No, man, I got my ticket booked to San Antonio. We'll see. I think they got a shot tonight for sure in this game. Home crowd, 2 days of practice here, a little bit of rest time. If they get to Game 7, I think it'll be tough. But I think they got a real shot tonight.
What's the city of San Antonio like? I'm not super familiar. Do you enjoy it?
I have the perfect comp. I've been thinking about this for the last week. It's like the Alamo is Texas Mall of America. It's all the same stuff. It's like all the chain things. It's all tourism. It's like Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, all that. I mean, the Riverwalk is beautiful, but I would say it's an outdoor Mall of America. That's my take on San Antonio.
With those Spurs and home games, are their fans raucous?
I thought Game 1, it was sort of muted. I don't know if they thought the Wolves were super injured and it was going to kind of be a roll the Wolves series. Right? That was sort of the public perception. It got started getting real loud in Game 2, though. Once the Wolves won that first one, and that's their team down there. It's always louder at these one sport like areas, right? Like Portland or something like that, when that's their only professional or Big Four sports team that they have. But it got loud. Yeah, it got loud there.
To the games and the game tonight. Those hard doubles on Anthony Edwards at half court. How can the Timberwolves do a better job punishing that approach being taken by the Spurs?
Trade for a point guard. I think that would be number one on my list there. Right. But right now, in this series, don't get bored with it. I feel like what I said on my show it felt to me more like the Wolves were annoyed that the Ant was being doubled than they were like intentional about breaking it. They've seen this look, right? It's not the first time we've seen Ant get doubled at the top of the floor and a team try to take the ball out of his hands.
Yep.
Now, theirs is way more dangerous because they got Wemby lurking back at the rim, but I think this isn't that complicated. You just got to get it to the middle of the floor, Jaden flashing there, and then you kind of play 3-on-2 on the backside. But it requires doing it over and over and over again to force San Antonio to change it. And I think what sort of happened in this series is it'll be a period of time where they'll get it working, but then they'll kind of get bored with the success of it, and somebody else will try to be like, no, I want to go here, or Ant will just try and race it himself. You just got to, I'm sure Finch said this to you too when you guys did your interview, but you just got to keep doing the right thing over and over again and not get sort of bored with the success of it. That is something I would think 2 days of practice will help. I'm sure that was drilled on the floor and in film in these last 2 days. So I would assume it's better. It just has to be, to be able to win these last two.
Yeah, Dane, of what you just said, more of a question for the offseason, but I'm going to hit you with it now. How badly do they need a true point guard younger than Conley? And if you believe that yes, that does need to be addressed, how do they do it?
Yeah, what's an interesting thing is there's not that many point guards. So it is sort of like a limited market. Do the activity of free agent point guards is not allowed out there. Even point guards to be able to trade for. I don't know. The number one name that I think of, and I would imagine there's some somewhat reasonable paths to achieve is Kyrie Irving. in Dallas. He didn't play this year coming off the ACL tear he had about 15 months ago. But that would be the name that I would look at and think that the Wolves might be able to be aggressive enough to make a move there for. I think a lot of people would just like to say, okay, Julius Randle is that trade. But Dallas has to accept the deal too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, we'll explore more of this stuff once the summer comes. But I don't think it's going to be as simple as trading Julius Randle. If you want to get a real impact piece, I wonder if they might need to trade Rudy Gobert to sort of get assets to then be able to take those assets and trade them for a point guard.
Finchy said yesterday, Dane, at Dane Moore NBA via X, please follow. The coach said yesterday they need to get Anthony Edwards more shots. What goes into that?
Yeah. Well, I think it's one, if you can just break that double, right, then maybe San Antonio goes away from that look. But I thought Finch was really, really good in his halftime adjustments in Game 5. And you saw how the Wolves came out to start the third quarter in San Antonio in Game 5. The Wolves were on a 14-2 run, and it tied the game 61-61. They started using Ant off ball. He would start the possession in the corner, and he would receive two screens, a pin-down screen and then a zoom screen at the top. And now here you go. Ant's coming off ball, receiving it in a position where they can't just immediately put two on him. That worked really well, but I think that's also an example of I kind of got bored with doing that over and over again, and that 14-2 run turned into a San Antonio run the other way, and then obviously they end up losing the game by 29. But I think they found something, PA, in using Ant off ball and having somebody else bring the ball up the court, because they're just going to double Ant if he brings the ball. If he brings the ball up the court, it's going to be two on him right when he crosses. We know that. That's established in the series.
With the Spurs, Dane, does Dylan Harper have some future big-time star to him? Do you just kind of feel that a little bit?
Stud, dude. He's going to be a stud. It reminds me, I'm not a big college basketball or draft guy because I'm doing Wolves stuff. But Dylan Harper reminds me of the first times I watched Luka his rookie year, come to Target Center, where I just didn't really understand the background, but then I saw him sort of turn it up as a 19, 20-year-old and not look physically stronger, I guess, than the other guys, and that stood out to me with Harper earlier in the season when I saw him at Target Center, and it stood out when I watched these other Spurs games. I think they're going to have a real squad here of all-star, if not all NBA guys in Wembanyama, Harper, and then Castle. I think he's going to be a stud too.
Dane, I gravy trained this from your Twitter feed at Dane Moore NBA. Julius Randle, what has gone amiss with his offense? 42% on twos in the playoffs at just 14 points per game.
I don't think this is a good offensive matchup for him for two reasons. The best offensive games from Julius Randle, or the healthiest ones for the team, are when they don't have a primary guy to guard him, right? And then they need to bring help, maybe double teams. And then Julius is a really good passer, right? Julius led the team in assists. He's kind of like their primary playmaker. But to playmake, he needs that double to come. And with Castle guarding him, they haven't really needed to show full doubles, and Julius only has 9 assists in this series in 5 games. He averaged 5 per game in the sorry, somebody's talking to me. No. He faced these.
Boy, you got squeezed.
I know. I'm here at the Timberwolves facility. I don't know what's going on. But also Wembanyama.
Yes.
So Wembanyama's there, so they don't need to bring a double, and he can't really just go challenge Randle, or he can't challenge Wembanyama at the rim.
All right, last one. So you and Aaron Freeman can put together business tonight with media seating. Is there a starting lineup change you think makes sense? And if so, what is it?
I think it makes sense to start Naz Reid over Rudy Gobert in this game. I think, and Finch has already shown in how he's approached the minutes that Rudy Gobert plays, is he's trying to play Gobert in the non-Wembanyama minutes, right? When Cornette is out on the floor, And that's been the strategy. They've liked Reed and Randall more when Wembanyama's on the floor, so they can spread the floor, right? This isn't rocket science. That makes sense. I just think the pushing it to another level is to just start that way. Maybe avoid one of these rough starts, right? It was 11-24 is what the score was in the first 6 minutes of Game 5. I think you can counter those strong Wembanyama starts by having better offense yourself, and you're going to have better offense to start the game if Gobert's not on the floor. And, and I also think it'd be a good way to get Julius Randle going at the beginning of the game of being like, hey, go guard Victor for these first 6 minutes. Victor Wembanyama scored 16 points in the first 6 minutes of Game 5. If Julius Randle can turn it up, establish it right away at the beginning, be really physical with Wembanyama, I like that. Don't let them get going, and then because you have your more offensive group on the floor, you do get going. I don't think Finch will do it, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
You're excellent. Enjoy the game. We'll talk next week, okay?
All right.
See you about Dane Moore at Dane Moore NBA. From a post-game standpoint, if you missed 9 to noon today and you're looking to podcast, KFAN.com, 9 to noon, for some schedule reaction, begin at the top of the podcast. Schedule reaction there. Also at 10 with Alec Lewis. Need a Preakness tout? Dick Girardi at the 9:45 segment, then a couple of Adrian Peterson segments we think you'll enjoy. For Eric Nordquist, I'm Paul Allen. Thank you for listening to 9 to noon. May God bless you and all of your families. And the program is next on KFAN.
9 to noon.
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Newgate School, changing lives for over 45 years.
Westbound 94, some brake lights coming in.